Welcome back, Grind Force gamers, to another video, and today we are going to discuss legendary fighters. And I know we really want to see these free-to-play accounts and dedicate most of our content to free-to-play. However, legendary fighters are a part of the game, and we should talk about them. So we are going to talk about them, and by we, I mean myself and Falcon. How are you doing, Falcon?
Awesome to be back with you, Datskat. Love these chats. Yeah, so with legendaries today, I as you guys know, I'm a free-to-play player. I finally made the exception for Flame Chun-Li after she'd been out for a full year and was 50% off. I did pull the trigger on that one, but otherwise I'm free to play, so I don't have these other ones. I'll be deferring to Datskat on some of them. But as he's mentioned, these are still fighters that are in the game. They're a part of things. Even if you're free to play like me and you don't ever put money in to get these fighters, you should know about them and know what they're capable of so that you can counter them and try to do your best against the people who do have them. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yep. So guys, I'm going to be flopping back and forth here between the tier list maker and the game because although I own some of these, I don't use a lot of them, and I'm going to have to refer to their kits. So I kind of wanted to go relatively close to chronological order. I don't think I'm exactly correct here. I think that this is actually correct, but that's just mince and potatoes at that point. So Falcon, why don't you get us started off here and talking about Fashion Sakura, or however you want to say it.
From what I've heard, I believe it's pronounced Sakura, so Fashion Sakura.
Fashion Sakura. Okay. What do you think about Fashion Sakura?
Fashion Sakura was our first legendary. She was the one that was released with the game, so she was our first taste of the pay to win fighters.
Oh yeah.
And she was a pretty solid support character, especially early on when there just weren't that many fighters.
Yep.
She did make a pretty big difference for the whales who had her, because she was a valuable support that other players didn't have.
Yep. Although I thought the healing was very similar to Elena, I don't think it was necessary to purchase her. So if we're talking Fashion Sakura here, I think we're gonna slot her somewhere pretty low. Would you concur with that, Falcon? Maybe if for our tier list, maybe it goes S, 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 A, B, C, and D. I think she's probably around the B or C. Although she does have some utility, I don't think personally I could put her higher than a B. What do you think about that, Falcon?
I'm tracking with you 100% on that. I was going to say low end to B, upper end to C.
Okay. So let's leave her there for now, guys, and talk about who's next. And this guy, he made such a big difference for such a long time in everyone's account. I'm talking about Fashion Blanca here, guys. He kind of, I think he was the first glimpse into what the Flame team could be for us here in the global version. I don't think I need to waste any of my breath talking about him because I think Falcon, I think he was your boy for a long time, and you deserve to talk about him. I think you deserve this.
Thank you. I'm so glad you feel that way. Yeah. Yes, I am a huge Blanca fan anyway. All of the GFG crew knows this. He's my main in Street Fighter 6 and half the time in Street Fighter 2. I bounce all over the place in that one. But I love Blanca. And he was a legendary fighter that was released the right way. This was a fighter that was released after 30 days of activity by the player. So you're putting in time, you're putting in the effort, and you get the reward of a full functional character. That's how I'd love to see the legendaries done all the time. So far, he's been the only one that does that. But that did allow us all to get him. Everyone got him, and so he became this super cool transitional unit because he's released 30 days after you start playing the game for you. So we all are at that 30-day mark or so when we unlock him, and he opens up these new team opportunities, like you were talking about with the Flame faction in particular. All of a sudden we have a powerful Super and C2 to go with our powerhouse Viper and Dulcine C3 users.
Yeah.
And he's still an extreme staple in a lot of my teams. I love Fashion Blanca, incredible utility.
I'm still using them. I think when I started my second account, I think there was some criteria for the unlocking of the 30-day countdown, but it's not much, and you're gonna get that by playing the game daily. I think maybe a week into it, or if you play daily, you're gonna find your way to Fashion Blanca, and I think it's because of that he just automatically gets a higher grade on this list. I think he is certainly in that S slot. Just everybody gets him. You don't have to pay for him, and he's a legendary character. And B, he is still really good for that Super C2 on a Dhalsim team. I've been using him in the Path of Fire in the guild since he came out. That's still been a solid team for me in that guild battle there. So I'm open to demoting him to A, but I think he belongs in S.
I think he probably is right on the fringe there, but for this list, when we're talking about such a narrow scope, I think you're right. I think this is an S tier unit. He's actually unique for another reason, because every one of his skills is really useful and has utility. His C1 is actually a really powerful attack, and it hits the back line. So this allows you to do multiple like back line attacks in a row or something, gives you an assassination opportunity, and it's all fire damage, so you can mix him in with someone like Cammy Vega or whoever else. Like, this is a great unit, lot of options.
He is actually a tank class unit, so he is a little beefy, and that's pretty helpful. I think that's a really cool place for him, because his damage is great, but it's not game changing. But the fact that he can stay on the field for a little bit longer, and you don't necessarily need to keep him like alive with Abel or somebody else in the assist. You don't have to take that slot up. You can really let him be on the field pretty darn well. Okay, I think that brings us to the next fighter. I think S is a great spot for Fashion Blanca there. Let's talk about Nero here. He was a release with the Virgil collaborative event. And
yes, this was with the Devil May Cry, so same time as Virgil and Dante.
Yeah, Virgil and Dante, and was like the first legendary character that I was like, okay, why not? I guess it's $50, guys. It's a lot of money for a character. He's a great tank, though. I'll tell you that. He's a really, really good tank. If you gotta use his C2, it's helpful. He's just good out front. That's what he does. That's where he belongs. Before I built Goken, this is who I was using. He worked great for me. I think now that we're so far into the game and the global, and I have my roster kind of filled out, I just don't need another tank, especially after getting Goken. But I still think he's really, really good.
He's one of the units where, depending on what your needs are, he could be the one that fills that role. If you need someone who's another tank, but also can, hold his own in the damage department, Nero's a pretty good unit. He's pretty great, actually.
Yeah, and he was part of that collab. I'm not sure he's going to come around again.
Oh, you're right. This isn't... if we're talking about, like, purchasing now, I probably don't have that option.
Probably don't have that option. However, let's say you're in the SEA server and you haven't gotten to the Devil May Cry collab events. I'm not sure if they're doing them, so don't quote me on that. I'm not sure if the SEA server has different deals. I'm not a developer, but if they do it, might not be a terrible buy for you if you're a spender. But again, there are free-to-play options like Goken and the special summon pool that will fill that slot. So I think he's no lower than an A.
Yeah, I think A is the right slot for him.
Yep. Okay, moving on. Flame Chun-Li. Wow.
Oh, Flame Chun-Li.
Wow, I'll just say that.
Your fiery thunder thighs are the bossing nightmare.
Yeah, and she's got a story, so I won't bore you guys too much here, but Flame Chun-Li was not purchased by everyone right away. She didn't perform well in the trials. Nobody really knew what these boss teams were going to end up being. They were running Fashion Blanca Dhalsim. However, a few almost free-to-play players picked her up and started putting up boss scores in that first event, and a lot of the whales got really, really mad that an almost free-to-play player was putting up scores that were better than they were.
Yep.
And I think the devs ended up throwing her for purchase again later on down the line, and a lot of people picked her up. So I know I picked her up initially and was able to unlock some of those boss scores for a long time. And then I think Falcon, like you said, you're mostly free to play except for
Flame Chun-Li.
Ah.
For those boss scores, you know, I certainly felt justified in that particular purchase. It was when she was half off, so $25. That's not a terrible amount to spend on the best legendary we've got, for sure.
And it was different. You could ask friends for tickets and could get discounts on her. I think I picked her up for $35.
That's right. That's right. I forgot about that. But in the initial wave, that was part of it.
Yeah, and guys, I think that we don't have to question too much about this tier list. She's SS. She's the best legendary unit. She will be the most useful for you. Flame Chun-Li's SS, undeniable. Great unit.
Yeah, we should briefly just discuss, you know, what it is that makes her so great. What it is more than anything else is the vehicles, you guys. So when she gets her 6 of 6 vehicles, it boosts everybody's attack damage once she reaches 50 stacks of flame penetration.
All allies in the field receive a 100% boost to their crit rate and flame damage dealt for the rest of the match.
It's insane. But of course, you're only going to get this on a boss because it's going to take a ton of time to build up 50 stacks. But once you do, you'll be able to see it on your damage meter. It's insane how quickly the damage will just skyrocket upwards because now everybody's doing more than twice as much damage in some cases.
Yeah,
it's really wild.
Doubles your score instantly. Like, double. And so, but there is a way to run her and optimize her. What I would encourage you to do is check out your leaderboards on your events and stuff, and you can watch the replays of some of the whales that might be in your server and see how they're using her, see the timing they're using. A lot of people are using her with Richie Honda.
The meta boss team would be Rich Honda, Flame Chun-Li, Fire Adon, and Street Poison.
Yep.
You want to run this in manual mode so you can fire it off as quickly as possible. You keep poisons, Street Poison stacks up as well as building up all those Flame Chun-Li stacks, and damage will explode.
Okay, so that's Flame Chun-Li. She is the creme de la creme, and if you're going to spend any money on this game, it might not be a bad idea to pick her up. Okay, so F. Ken. F. Ken. That's exactly what he is.
F. Ken. F. You Ken.
F. You Ken. Guys, when he was released, I remember those old Pain Blade videos. He was all high on him because he ignores shield, but he just never worked right, or it just never was good enough, or he died too fast. The only thing we can talk about with F. Ken is the wildly awesome assist skill he has. So that's I'll just read it here. Takes effect when the fighter is in assist position, obviously. So every time an enemy is inflicted with burn or bleed, the assisted fighter gains 3% damage bonus and 8 speed for 8 seconds, stacks up to 4 times. When you put him assisting somebody like Fire Adon, for example, who is doing burn damage, and you have Richie Honda scaling up that speed, so you're whipping him out, you're going to be at 4 stacks of this quite a bit, and it only helps to have that extra speed, and an extra 12% damage bonus is not something to roll your eyes at from an assist. Great assist skill.
Yeah, that's probably the number one assist I wish I had that I do not.
Yeah.
Because that would slot perfectly with Fire Adon's that meta team we just talked about.
Yep.
But you haven't found a single slot for him on like a normal team on the field anywhere?
Dude, I've been trying. The scores are underwhelming. The survivability is tough. He was the first legendary unit that I bought that I was excited for, that I was let down. $50 for an assist, guys, I don't think is quite worth it. Just not doing it.
So in your opinion, where does he sit on this tier list then?
He's above Sakura for sure if he's B. He might even be low A. I think let's put him in either one of those slots for now. I'm going to put him above Sakura. And I might even drop Sakura down to C at this point. I think maybe F. Ken belongs in that B tier there. I don't know, man. He just never did it. But that assist is really darn good. So he gets some points for that. That's where I
some props for the assist.
Props for the assist. Jhon Ibuki is next, and Jhon Ibuki is really interesting. I see a lot of, not a lot, but I see some whales out there putting up really, really cool scores with Jhon Ibuki.
How are they using her?
It has to do with like just getting her stacks right. So if you read her kit, and we don't need to go all into it, but there are these cards that she will inflict, and they all do different things. So if you can stack up some of these inflictions, some of these debuffs on the enemy in the right configuration, she can do really, really well for bosses. That's where I've been seeing her on boss fights. I do have Jhon Ibuki, and I have sometimes gotten good scores from her, but she's kind of hit or miss depending on how the fight unfolds, and a little RNG dependent. But there is some there, and I think she's probably deserving of a slot below Fashion Blanca, or above Nero. That's kind of where I put her, because I do use her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do use
wow.
her actively. I think she belongs above Nero in the A. Super not necessary to buy her. That's the deal. You got V Vega. You got Overlord Bison. Let's say you picked up Leo and you got a turtle team going on. You know, there are 3 DPS units that are not legendary units that you are going to have boss teams with. And let's say you pick up Flame Chun-Li. There's your 4th boss team. You only have 1 legendary character you bought. Why would I buy Jhon Ibuki? That's kind of the deal right now. And I think that's going to go for any of these legendary DPS characters going forward. Is like, they're probably pretty nice, but unless they scale damage for somebody else, I'm thinking I'm not going to be purchasing them anymore. All right, so Christmas Rufus. I know just as much about him as Zero. So do you know anything about Christmas Rufus?
I don't know a ton about Christmas Rufus. I have seen him, however, that he is a unit that some, not necessarily whales, but people who have him are slotting him in on some boss teams.
Yep.
As to what it is that he can offer that other units don't, I'm not sure. I can't understand why he would be the choice over someone like E Honda or Sagat even.
Maybe they just bought him. That is the
They're just using him because they bought him.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know what he does. He inflicts this chill stuff. Maybe there's a niche there where you're going up against a certain team.
The chill that he applies to everyone reduces flame damage by 8%, but it increases thunder damage by 8%. And reduces speed. So he's the kind of tank that you could throw in on front of a shock team. If we had a good shock team to work with, then he could slot in with that to help just boost that thunder damage a little bit. But that's a pretty small little thing to note. By and large, we don't see him. We don't see him out there very much.
I'm going to put him down there with Sakura. You know, like we said about Sakura, some people are using them, and maybe they get benefit. But for $50, guys, I just can't. I can't get behind it. I think he looks pretty stupid too.
He does look pretty stupid. I don't know. It was just a fun festive thing that they could release, I guess.
Yeah, they made some money on it. So I'm gonna put him above Fashion Sakura, and
I would put him below Fashion Sakura.
Below Fashion Sakura, okay.
I think we were correct having her like lower B, upper C.
Okay, so Trendy Elena. Trendy Elena. I bought Trendy Elena. I built Trendy Elena. I use her every now and then. But again here, like, you don't need her. There isn't a team that she's going to go on, because you're going to be building V Vega. You're going to be building Overlord Bison. You're going to be building, you know, these other C3s that you can get through the game without just loading money in, that are going to do better than she does. Does she put out a lot of damage? Yeah, she can. Is she good in PvE? Yeah, she's pretty good if she can keep her alive. She's just not quite there. So I think she's probably, you know, certainly behind Nero, maybe above Fashion Ken there. But that's where I would put her. I don't know if you looked at her skills at all.
Truthfully, I'm going to defer to you on that one. I have pretty much no knowledge about this character, so if however you're using her, I will defer to your judgment.
Yeah, I throw her in because I bought her, you know, so I throw her in. Basically, she does these stacks of this, like, you know, super weapon thing, or she can unleash that with her C3. So her C3 is like this big AoE, and it's pretty powerful in PvE. It's not going to be better than other special summon characters, so I think maybe these legendary characters, other than Flame Chun-Li, are probably just, like, nice to have. That's kind of what they are. They're just kind of like, Your account doesn't have something here, you're going to have it immediately.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to view legendaries in general. If we look at this tier list and we think of it as a buy and don't buy, then all we have is Flame Chun-Li.
Yep.
We have Flame Chun-Li at top. This is a buy. This is one instance where I'll tell you that, yeah, if you are loving the game, $25 is absolutely justified for this fighter. Everyone else on this list, well, Fashion Blanca you get for free, so he's kind of excluded. But everyone else, these are characters that you can maybe slot in, maybe have fun if you're just enjoying the game and you just want to throw in some money and get a new character. That's what these are there for. You'll be able to fill them in how you want, but they are not necessary to anything.
No, and nor are they the best at what they do. They're not the best damage dealers. They're not the best scalers other than Flame Chun-Li. They're just not, but they're nice and they do damage and they work. That's kind of why we're doing this list, guys. We want to keep coming back to that. Like, I think free to play is totally great. And Falcon, you and I were talking about this earlier with regard to overall level, and it did not shock me to find that you are catching up to me as a free to play player, even though I spent a number of hundreds of dollars.
Actually, I passed you in the campaign. I'm on 41.8 and you're on 41.4, something like that.
Nope. Yesterday I was.
Oh, that's what you said in the Discord. Oh, okay.
I beat it later that night because I was like, man, I haven't progressed in this in a long time. I better do something. So.
Yeah, but in level, yeah, we were only about 15 levels apart. You said you were like 447. I'm 431.
Yeah,
so
something like that.
Very much in line. We've both been playing for the same amount of time. We're in the exact same place in the game, even though a disparate amount of money has been spent.
Free to play is great. However, the grind is real, and you should play every day. If you don't want to play every day and you still want to be where you are in the leaderboards, that's when you're going to start spending money. Spending money is basically gaining time or Flame Chun-Li. That's it. So let's talk about Agent C Viper, right? That's her name, Agent C Viper.
Agent C Viper. Yeah, this is confusing because now we've got C Viper, Chief Viper, and Agent Viper.
Yeah, I did not pick this unit up. However, in our Discord, we had a number of our primary Discord contributors buy her, and we're posting some decent scores with her, kind of unlocking some of her stuff. But there was part of her kit was busted on the release, and then they kind of fixed that. So
there was a bug of some kind in her kit that allowed you to just cheat the system and do her, I think it was her super, over and over and over again without taking up any meter. Something like that. And so people were able to get just astronomical nonsense scores that make no sense. So they did fix that part. She's not bugged anymore in that regard.
As far as placement, I didn't buy her. You didn't buy her. Falcon, I will defer to you. What do you think?
This one, with the understanding that we don't have a ton of knowledge about her, I'd say she's probably upper end of B, lower end of A.
Yep.
Somewhere in there.
That's kind of where I was, right around Trendy Elena. Like I said, people in our Discord did get some good numbers with her, so there is some there, but it's a legendary unit. It's just fun. That's all. It's not necessary. You don't need any of these people except for Flame Chun-Li. All right, so Hydro Chun-Li. I think that Hydro Chun-Li, she reads really good, guys, but I think she's missing one key aspect here. Her C3 is really the deal where, depending on the number of enemies left on the field, she's going to do more damage. So that's kind of nice. It kind of accelerates a fight. If you get the upper hand, she might be able to take you over the edge kind of deal.
Yeah, you could also make, if you're fighting against a boss unit that only has a single boss enemy, now you're guaranteed to have that increase of 75% throughout the whole fight.
But where she falls short is that her perfect circles... Falcon and I just spent a bunch of time reading her kit to scour this to make sure this was accurate. We couldn't find it, but we think her perfect circles only work on herself. So again, she's just another legendary DPS unit, and you might as well be running V Vega.
Exactly. Once she gets to the point where she's just a DPS unit, I don't care how much things are being boosted by her perfect circle. It's only boosting herself. If this was a team-wide buff and she had ways of supplying this perfect circle to everybody and she became more of a support and DPS hybrid unit, then I think she could really have an interesting place in this game. But because that perfect circle only applies to herself, that crit damage buff and the blocking 1 instance of damage, it's only helping her. So then she's just another DPS unit, and that's just another DPS unit that you're not going to use because she's not good enough to match up to the best.
Right. Now, I have her assist pulled up here, so I'll just read that. When the assisted fighter unleashes a combo or super combo, they have a 25% chance of gaining a perfect circle. Each stack increases crit damage by 15% and can block 1 instance of damage. After blocking instance of damage, a stack is lost. Otherwise, the circle will last for 9 seconds. It stacks up to 3 times and cannot be dispelled. Let's just say Sea Viper, right? Regular OG Sea Viper. If you have Hydro Chun-Li assisting her, Sea Viper could potentially get extra 45% damage if they all hit. Or she is able to get 3 circles stacked up. And she can block 3 instances of damage. I think the assist skill is pretty darn good. But a little conditional.
A little conditional because, like, if you think about, you know, a lot of fighters like Fire Don C3, for example, you're going jab, 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 jab. They're a bunch of hits at once. So even if you have 3 stacks of these, if she does get hit by one of those types of combos, all 3 stacks can go away like that.
Yep.
But you do get them back pretty quickly. It's anytime the assisted fighter uses a combo or a super combo. So I don't think this is quite as good as Abel's assist, for example.
Yep.
But it's kind of a budget version of that.
It's a budget version, and you get some attack with it too. So it's not just a damage reduction barrier. It is an attack booster as well, which is kind of cool because, you know, you're instantly giving your DPS character some survivability as well as some extra damage boosting at a percentage. I think it's pretty good. I think I'm gonna put her below F Ken until I get her built and see some boss scores. With her being the primary unit, I don't think I can put her much higher than just a great assist. I think she belongs right there.
Yep. Yeah, I think that works pretty well. I think B tier. It's still early. We'll see if something pops out with her. But for now, nothing that's super exciting or game-changing, to be sure.
Yeah, so to recap, we got Flame Chun-Li, SS, Fashion Blanca, S. The A's go Jhon Ibuki, Nero, Agent Sea Viper. The B's go Trendy Elena. And honestly, Trendy Elena, I think I'm going to put Trendy Elena at the low A just because she is a great DPS character. And then B, we're talking about great assists. That would be Fashion Ken, Hydro Chun-Li, and then Fashion Sakura. Again, Fashion Sakura, the reason she's so low is just regular faction characters do what she's doing just as well, if not better. So and then Christmas Rufus at a C just because I think he looks stupid.
Sit in C, Rufus.
Yeah, you can chill down there, Roofy. Oh. All right. All right. I think that about wraps that list up.
As we were talking about, if you are considering a purchase, this is the way to look at it. Where the buy is just Flame Chun-Li. That's the one that truly the purchase could be justified for $25, even $50 if you're really enjoying the game.
Yep.
She will boost your game a lot. Fashion Blanca you'll get automatically, which is awesome, and he's awesome. Everyone else, if you're looking to put in some money and you're just looking for a new character, or you're just a big fan of Nero or Fashion Ken or Christmas Rufus for some reason, you are free to go pick them up and you'll have a great time with them. They'll be able to add to your roster, but they're not units that will usually make it in to your main teams.
No, other than the assist of like Fashion Ken. So that's kind of it. So guys, there is the legendary tier list. Again, I'll throw the tier list back up here so you can see it. That is the Grind Force Gaming opinion on legendary units, and I hope that video was helpful to you guys. If it was, please join our Discord. Like, subscribe. You know the gig there, and but we really want you on our Discord. We have really good conversations going on that Discord all the time. And it's just a wealth of knowledge available to you for free. All you got to do is follow the link down in the description. And once again, Falcon, I truly appreciate having these conversations with you and putting these videos out. I think they're helpful to us, helpful to the community, helpful to the Discord, and helpful for the grind, man. For the grind.
For the grind. It's all about the grind, you guys.
You bet.
It's my pleasure, Datskat. Awesome talking with you, as always.
I love it. All right, guys. Well, I bid you farewell and take care, and Grind Force Gaming out.
Later.